Am I the asshole for telling my extended family how many men, roughly, my sister has slept with after she outed our youngest brother as a virgin? We had a family dinner this evening. My family has 4 kids in total. Me, my elder sister, 29F, younger sister, 24F, and youngest brother, 22 meters. Extended family attended our family dinner. So all of our significant others, our cousins, aunts, and uncles etc. During the dinner my elder sister and youngest brother got into a mild disagreement. My sister seemed, at least to me, to be coming across as very aggressive out of frustration, and losing said argument. The two of them were too absorbed in their argument to realize the rest of us were getting a bit fed up. Eventually my sister got really fed up and said, "Shut up, I'm not going to argue with a 22-year-old virgin." My brother hadn't done any personal attacks up until that point. It was completely unprovoked. I think it might have been the alcohol as my sister is a mean drunk. Anyway, I immediately told my sister to grow up and that she was making an embarrassment of herself. She replied by saying everyone knows he's a virgin and she didn't say anything wrong. This annoyed me as my bro definitely has confidence issues and doesn't need to be made fun of like this. So I responded by saying how she slept with well over 100 men while she was in college, and that since everyone in the family knows this, it's not a big deal, right? Turns out her husband didn't know this. Amazingly, I genuinely assumed he must have known. He left the party angrily saying my sister misled him about her past. Family is blaming me for their marital problems. I refuse to accept I did anything wrong. My sister bullied my brother in front of everyone. All I did was give her a taste of her own medicine. Am I the asshole for giving my ex-wife a large amount of money I won despite the anger of my GF? I recently won a "fuck you" amount of money. I won't say exactly how much, but it's in the millions. It makes me feel funny even typing. It's enough to change the life of myself and my family. My ex-wife is the mother of my 2 kids. She is an amazing woman and good to the bone. We divorced 6 years ago because I had an affair with my current partner. I was in a low place in my life and I fucked up. She was in incredible pain, but, like a fucking saint, she allowed me to still see our kids who mean the world to me, allowed our divorce to be as pain-free as possible despite the fact that I know she was hurting. She still is close with my parents. She is respectful to me, although she refuses to talk to my GF. She was actually the first person I phoned after my mom and pops, after I found out I won the lottery. She was pleased for me, joked that I could take the kids on a world round trip, and that was that. Nothing else. As soon as I won, I knew I wanted to give her a significant amount. I still love her. She's the mother of my babies and I feel like this is some small tiny way I can show her that I'm not a complete fuck up. She deserves to know that I care despite my mistakes. She also works a shitty job in the public library, which pays her peanuts. She would actually be able to pursue her hobbies this way. Give our kids a better life between us. I haven't discussed this with my ex yet, but I have with my parents who strongly agree, and my lawyer who was very surprised but on board. Long story short, when I told my GF, she was livid, screaming that I'm disrespecting her, accusing me of still being in love with my ex-wife. I'm not in love with her. We're both grown apart, but of course I still love her for being an excellent co-parenting partner and mother to my kids. My GF is threatening to break up with me, and TBH I'm feeling incredibly relieved over the threats. I don't plan on changing my plans. Am I the asshole for not allowing my best friend to crash at my house after his wife died? My best friend Jake's wife died about a month ago in a car crash, and he's handling it terribly. He's a complete mess, and while we all try to be there for him, he's become very depressed and spends his time either drinking or sleeping. They had a little girl who's 3 years old, and while he's not neglecting her, I can tell he's barely holding himself together as it is. A few days ago, Jake told me he can't stand being in his house anymore because it makes him remember his wife, but that he'd force himself to take a few sleeping pills to sleep. Cut to yesterday at 1 AM, my wife and I were waken up by someone banging at our door. I open to see Jake and his daughter at my door, and he asks if he can sleep here for the night because he can't handle being in his house anymore. I tell him she can stay, but he can't because he has to get over it eventually. He gives me the dirtiest glare I've ever seen and leaves without saying anything. Today I found out that Jake went back to his house, put his daughter to sleep, then went and slept on the streets. When my wife found out, she called me a massive asshole, but I don't think I was. My intention wasn't to kick him out to the streets, it was to help him get over his wife's death. Edit. Thanks. Reading all your responses have shed a lot of light on how what I did was terrible and came off as me not caring about him. I'll go talk to him a few hours from now and apologize and let him stay here if he needs. I'll discuss his living situation, and if he can't stay in his house I'll see what I can do. Am I the asshole for firing an employee after his parents died? I'm the VP of sales at a software company, and one of our sales development reps' parents passed away at the beginning of April. Sadly, they were involved in a car crash and both lost their lives. Now the employee in question is a very young 22-year-old guy and has been with us for about 10 months now. He's a great employee and we were thinking about promotions in the next 6 months for him. His job is a high-paying one for a new grad, about 90k with commission and base, so we expect a lot from this position. Because of the accident we let him take a 1-month paid leave of absence from work and he's returned a few weeks ago, and his performance is severely lacking. He's super unmotivated, not cold calling, outreaching to prospects for the last 2 to 3 weeks enough since he's come back. Our whole MGMT team has noticed this, and we decided to let him go because we feel like he'd need months and months to be able to produce again, and we can't just wait that long. We called him into a meeting on Friday afternoon and gave him the bad news. He was very calm and rude about it, told us to go fuck ourselves, and got up and went to his desk, grabbed his few things and left. I thought this was very unprofessional and extremely rude. I told my boyfriend about all of this, and he said myself and my MGMT team are a bunch of asses and pricks with no hearts. Am I the asshole for telling cashier that wasn't the girl's credit card? Throwaway because husband told me I was the asshole and want to know before I get home and argue. On phone format is bad. I was in a higher end department store today, rhymes with looming tales, and happened to end up next to 2 teenage-aged girls while shopping. One of the girls had picked out a pair of very expensive boots and they were both fawning over them. Second girl must have looked at price tag and asks boots girl if she's really gonna spend that much on boots. Girl with boots says something along the lines of "it's fine, I have my dad's credit card, I'm not paying," which instantly caught my attention because that's not her card. I've told my son multiple times he's never allowed to use my card, so I'm interested to see how this girl thinks she's going to get away with fraud, but had split up from the girls at this point because they had found something else. We end up at the same register, me behind, and I see her total hit well over 4 digits. The girl is about to swipe her card when I decide that I can't let her get away with something like this and someone has to parent this kid if no one else will. I tell cashier that isn't her card, but her father's, and I'm not sure she has permission. Girl and friend turn and glare at me, giving me possibly the dirtiest look I've ever seen. I swear this girl was going to throw a tantrum right there. I don't think she was ever told no. Girl tells cashier her father gave her the card to shop with because it's the store's credit card and it gives him the points. Now that I've pointed out it wasn't hers, cashier tells her she can't use that card. Girl tries to show ID to prove they have the same last name. Yeah, that will help, and I tell her it's still fraud. Girl says it's not fraud because she has permission and tells me to mind my own business. I tell her that it is my business, that she's doing something illegal, she needs to pay with her own card or I call the cops. Girl is pissed now and people are glaring at me. She uses her own card and leaves crying. Cashier looks mad at me and I tell my husband when I get home, only for him to agree I was in the wrong. Would I be the asshole if I gave my neighbor the rest of his cigarette butts back? I came back from a 6-week vacation only to find my flower garden has been littered with cigarette butts. They all came from my neighbor. He's the only one that still smokes. I went to his house and politely asked him if he could clean them up. He told me to fuck off and then slammed the door in my face. Since everything was mixed in with the mulch, I had to get on my hands and knees and pick everything out by hand. Fucking 47 cigarette butts. I've been mailing them back to him one by one with a simple note: don't be an ass, pick up your trash. I've sent 26 so far. His wife just came to my house and talked to my wife. She made a peace treaty. She apologized on behalf of her husband. My wife is furious with the amount of pettiness that I have displayed and told me that I need to stop. I don't know if I can. I feel like I'm emotionally invested in this now. I mean, he sent his wife to apologize to my wife. He didn't even have the decency to apologize to me man to man. Am I the asshole for purposely stopping my classmate from winning an award and subsequently making her cry? This issue is honestly making me frustrated. Almost everyone is saying I'm in the wrong. People are talking behind my back, and I genuinely don't know if what I did was correct or not. I just feel so lost. Please do help. I'm 17, suffered a major accident while cycling when I was 13. I have 2 really deep long facial scars. I have been bullied really bad because of it. I'm tall, ugly and intimidating as per most girls. People make fun of other people by saying things like, why don't you just hook up with you/throw away for 2K19. I'm honestly used to it. Those people didn't matter to me anyway. But there is this girl I had known since middle school. Let's call her back, I guess. Sorry, I honestly don't know how this works. I had a really big crush on her till a few days ago. I thought she was genuinely sweet and amazing. My family is incredibly supportive, so they urged me to ask her out. I can play a guitar, so I made this whole song for her. I went to the neighboring city to get her favorite chocolate and stuff like that. This was the first time I felt like really going and asking someone out in my life, and I felt that regardless of what I do, she shall see me for who I am, and at least accept me as a friend. I was over the moon when she ended up accepting. We went to a fancy restaurant, had a fun time together, and walked for 30 minutes. She was really sweet to me. The next week or so was honestly heaven. People started noticing me, even her friends seemed friendly with me. I honestly cried every day because I felt so fortunate to get so much love. It all broke down when a friend of hers, who was on Instagram and followed Beck, sent screenshots to me. I honestly felt betrayed and disgusted. She had posts saying fulfilled his lifelong wish by being his Valentine's, making his day by finally helping him interact with my friends. He is ugly but beautiful people accept ugly people #UGLYPEOPLEMATTER etc. Beck's friend then explained me that she apparently wanted a good social media image and had thus asked all her friends to be kind to me and tolerate me till the first week of March and then distance themselves from me. She apparently wanted to win some stupid positive role model award for her college application because she was lagging behind in community service point and thought playing with my feelings for a few days wouldn't hurt. And apparently since I was ugly she was the kind one to give me attention anyway. I was in tears and honestly felt disgusted. My blood was boiling. I researched about this award, found a Facebook page about it online. I went to the authorities to confirm if her name was on the nominations list and then had my friends at work and family as alibi. She is apparently crying a lot because she received a message from the committee saying her nomination was withdrawn. I'm now even more ostracized in school, but honestly I have no remorse whatsoever and feel far more satisfied. Am I the asshole for telling my family that if they gift us money for our wedding, there will be no strings attached, or we will politely decline it? I fucking hate wedding culture. It's bullshit. My fiance and I thought we would escape the bullshit and money by having a small thing. Well, family started trying to throw money at us to make it bigger and more spectacular. We were surprised, but it was a good surprise. Then the demands started coming out. They wanted this, they wanted that, they wanted this person to come, these colors, dresses can't do this, this person has to be flower girl, this person has to be a groomsman, etc etc. Suddenly it didn't feel like our wedding, but an excuse for our families to have a family reunion. We put our foot down and said, thank you all for your kindness and generosity when it comes to our wedding. Unfortunately, it looks like we may not have been on the same page as the rest of you. When we were offered money for this wedding, we did not realize it came with strings attached. With so many requests and so many demands from people we didn't expect would think they had a say in our wedding, we have decided to give everyone their money back. Our understanding of what a gift is must be very different. If you would like to give us money without strings attached, or requests or demands, we will gracefully accept it. But if you believe a gift should come with stipulations, we must regretfully and politely decline. This has caused an epic shitstorm. Such to the point where I have people saying they will never come to our wedding. Honestly, not the worst thing in the world that we are spoiled, we're assholes, etc etc etc. My parents are rather upset about it, but hers, who never made any demands and gave us a small cash gift, said we did the right thing. We are halfway to cancelling the whole party and just absconding into the wilderness to do the wedding the way we want. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for threads you would like to see done, drop them in the comments below and I will try to get to them.